Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of All Score No Defense, the best sports channel. And on this episode, I'm going to give you my picks and predictions for Week 8. Let's get into it. Okay, now, last week I had a great week. I won 11 games, or I got 11 games right. And the goal of this challenge is to get 10 or more wins. If I get 10 or more, that means I'm doing right. I'm doing something good. And so far, I'm already 1-0, so let's continue. All right. This week we have Carolina, or starting it off, we have Carolina Panthers versus the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to go with Atlanta. Atlanta, one thing we know about Atlanta, they can score points. Now their defense is bad. But against this Carolina team, I think Matt Ryan has the edge because Matt Ryan usually does play his best football against Carolina. Why? I don't know. Also, with Carolina has been on a skid. After starting 3-0, this team has not looked the same since. But I'm going to take Atlanta in this one, 35-31. Next, we have the Tennessee Titans versus the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going to take the Colts. Now, if you take Tennessee, I understand. But I'm going to take the Colts simply because Tennessee beat the Colts earlier this season. And for those who know sports, you know that it is extremely hard to beat the same team twice. Get this. I had the Super Bowl. I had the Tennessee Titans as a Super Bowl favorite. Here's why. They have Derrick Henry. And with Derrick Henry, they dominate in time of possession. That is a key stat to have. Or that's a key stat to have because when you dominate in time of possession, you keep the opposing offense on the sideline watching. Then with the addition of Julio Jones, the Tennessee Titans now have a deep threat. So I do see why people think Tennessee might win this game. I'm going with the Colts because the Colts have been playing way better these last 2 weeks. Now, I know the Colts record isn't the best, but you got to look. They just haven't had the best luck at the end of games. So I'm going to take the Colts in this one, 27-24. Next, we have the Buffalo Bills versus the Miami Dolphins. I'm going with the Bills. Josh Allen has been playing out of this world. Josh Allen he's looking like an MVP candidate. Now, I'm not going to say he's going to win MVP, but he's looking like an MVP candidate. And with Miami has been disappointing. I thought they were going to make that next step or take that next leap, but they just haven't been playing their best football. So I'm going to take Buffalo in this one, 35-17. Next, we have the Cincinnati Bengals versus the New York Jets. I'm going with the Bengals, but I think the game is going to be a lot closer. Why? The Cincinnati Bengals just blew out Baltimore. And we know in professional sports, when a team has a big win, especially by a big margin, they come in the next following week a little sluggish, not taking their opponent that serious. So I think Cincinnati and New York, they're going to battle it out in the first half, but I think Cincinnati is going to pull away later on in the ball game. So I'm going to take the Bengals in this one, 28-20. All right. Next, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Cleveland Browns. This one was hard. I'm going with Cleveland simply because Cleveland has been playing more consistent football. What is the identity for the Cleveland Browns? We're going to run the football. That is their identity. If they can get 100 yards rushing, that is the magic number. That is what they're trying to get each and every game. They want to run that football, then use Baker Mayfield. And that equates to wins. Whereas for Pittsburgh, I don't know what I'm going to get from them week to week. 1 minute, their offense is lights out. Next minute, their defense is bad. So I'm going to take Cleveland in this one in a close ball game, 21-17. In a close goal-scoring game, 21-17. Next, we have the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Detroit Lions. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is my upset of the week. Yes, Detroit comes into this game at 0-7. But did you guys see how Detroit played last week? They went out there and did any and everything. They were doing fake kicks. They were doing onside kicks. They were doing trick plays. Why? Because this team has nothing to lose. And despite what you say about Detroit, their offense is actually pretty good. Like, you know what I mean? Their offense has some weapons. And with this Philadelphia team, we don't know what we're going to get from them week to week. 1 minute their offense wants to show up. Next minute their offense doesn't. 1 minute their defense gets sacks. Next minute, So I'm going to take Detroit in this one. Yeah, I'm going to take Detroit in this one on a touchdown win. They're going to win by a touchdown, 32-24. Next, we have the Rams versus the Texans. Now, I'm a Texans fan, and I'm gonna come out and say it. It's not our year, bro. It has not been our year, man. The Texans are not a good football team. So I'm going to take the Rams in this one, 38-21. Excuse me. Next, we have the San Francisco 49ers versus the Chicago Bears. I'm going with the Bears. Why? Good teams following a bad loss come back the following week and they dominate. That's just how it is in professional sports. And Chicago got embarrassed last week against Tampa Bay. Let's be honest. And with the 49ers, they're another team that been disappointing. I thought Jimmy Garoppolo was gonna come back, hearing the rumors, with Trey Lance and all that type of stuff. I thought he was gonna come back into this season motivated, but we just haven't seen that. So I'm gonna take Chicago in this one, 33-29. All right. Next we have the New England Patriots versus the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm going with the Chargers. Now, would I be surprised if the Patriots win? No. But I'm going with the Chargers simply because that offense can put up points, man. Justin Herbert, man, the dude's serious. He's a guy that took that leap. You know, I have my questions about him his rookie year, but this year, he's definitely made that surge, that jump. He's the real deal. So I'm going to take the Chargers, 31-24. Next, we have the Jaguars versus the Seahawks. Now, I almost picked the Jaguars. I did. I almost picked the Jaguars in this one because Seattle's offense minus Russell Wilson, it ain't the same. And to my sources, my sources haven't informed me that Russell Wilson is going to play, but I'm still going to take Seattle simply because Seattle is a better football team. Their defense is a lot better than Jacksonville's. Even though Jacksonville's offense at times can be a well-oiled machine, there are times where it's like, ooh, what is that? So I'm going to take Seattle in this one. They're going to win by a field goal, 24-21. Next, we have the Buccaneers versus the Saints. I'm going to take the Bucs. Tom Brady, you can make a case that Tom Brady is the MVP. Now, he wouldn't win. I still believe Dak Prescott is the MVP. But Tom Brady, you can make a legitimate case that this dude could be the MVP. He's playing better at 44 than he was at 24. And that's remarkable. So I'm going to take the Buccaneers. And another reason, the Saints, they still don't have an identity. What do I mean? One week they want to let Jameis go, then the next week they kind of want to contain Jameis, which that's not bad, but sometimes, you got to kind of take him off the leash a little bit. So I'm going to take the Buccaneers in this one, 38-32. All right, next we have the Washington football team versus the Denver Broncos. I'm going with Denver. Now, if you go at Washington, that's understandable, but I'm taking Denver. Here's why. The Denver Broncos come into this game at 3-4. Who else in their division, the AFC West, has that same record? Kansas City. So that means that Denver is still in the hunt for the playoffs. They're still in the playoff hunt. So this game, even though it's only week 8, this is a must-win game for Denver. Denver needs this game to have their playoff hopes alive. So I'm going to take Denver in this one. I believe they're going to win off a game-winning field goal, 30-27. Next, we have the Dallas Cowboys versus the Minnesota Vikings. Even though it pains my heart to say this, the Dallas Cowboys are playing really well. I can't believe I just said that. The Dallas Cowboys right now have one of the hottest offenses in the NFL. Dak Prescott, as I mentioned earlier, Dak Prescott is my early season MVP. The dude has been playing remarkable. He already has comeback player of the year. That's not even up for debate. He won that already. He's doing a lot better. His offensive line is protecting him. Ezekiel Elliott, he's starting to run the football a little bit better. Tony Pollard as well, CeeDee Lamb. This offense is flowing. And then their defense is playing a lot better. Trevon Diggs, it's like he's an interception machine. And this defense is playing lights out. So I'm going to take the Cowboys in this one, 35-21. And last but not least, we have the Giants versus the Chiefs. I'm going with the Chiefs. I know the Chiefs have not been playing like the Chiefs of usual. That's only because Patrick Mahomes, he's kind of doing a little too much. What do I mean? When he first came into the league, y'all remember those little plays where he threw the ball up in the air, kind of like a prayer, and his prayer would get answered? I believe he kind of put himself in too deep because now he's trying to live up to that name. And with him doing that on a consistent basis, this season he hasn't had that same luck because those plays that he used to get, that were completions. Now this season, those plays are turnovers. So I believe Patrick Mahomes and this team is going to bounce back, and I think they're going to beat the Giants 41-27. And that's all for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel or page, be sure to subscribe and follow me for more. I do new episodes like this Monday through Friday, and I'm out.